With the installation of Mojtaba Khamenei, who has been seconded by the most powerful IRGC, it essentially means that the hardline regime continues to prevail in Iran. There is a larger picture of chaos that is emerging not only in the Middle East, but in the entire world. There are three players in the game. You have the US, Israel, you have Iran, which are refusing to back down, and then there is a collateral damage in the Gulf countries. The Iranian president's statement did not carry any weight. Ultimately, what is carrying weight in Iran is the IRGC. It is looking more of a stalemate till such time that the IRGC collapses. But it does not seem so because the regime is still firing. Chinese are one supportive of the Iran regime. Have they intervened? No. Russia is supportive of the Iran regime. Has he intervened? No. So why does the world expect India to intervene? It is high time that the Indian defense players started to look at what Iran has been able to do.
Hello and a very warm welcome to all. You're watching Hindustan Times and my name is Aisha Varma. On this segment of Point Blank, we take a magnifying glass to the Middle East, with the lens being on Iran and the ripple effects of the US-Israeli joint operation. Is it a new era for Iran? Joining us at this point to discuss the perceived instability of the Middle East is HT's executive editor, Mr. Shishir Gupta. Sir, namaskar. Sir, the previous Supreme Leader's son, Ali Khamenei's son, Mojtaba, has been named as Iran's Supreme Leader. He wants to hit at infrastructure. What is happening in the Middle East? Where is it headed?
See, beyond the installation of Mojtaba Khamenei, the hardline son of Ali Khamenei, there is a larger picture of chaos that is emerging not only in the Middle East, but in the entire world. You see, currently, today, if you look at it, the oil prices have hit a high of $117 a barrel and it's climbing. Qatar says the prices are going to go up to $150 a barrel, which is chaos. The markets have gone down very badly. The Japanese stock exchange has gone down by 4,000 points. We are looking at a Sensex going down. We are looking at global tanking of markets. That's the other thing. Then there is a problem because of continuous firing of missiles by Iran towards Gulf countries. There is a problem that could hit at the food security of these nations. Iran has hit at the desalination plant in Bahrain, which is water is a strategic commodity in Middle East. So there is a picture of chaos that is emerging and continued chaos that is emerging. Now, with the installation of Mojtaba Khamenei, who has been seconded by the most powerful IRGC, it essentially means that the hardline regime continues to prevail in Iran. And if that is the case, Iran will not back down and continue to fight till the time it can fight. That is one part. Second thing is that you see US has increased bombing, Israel has increased bombing of Tehran, of all the sites, infrastructure, oil depots, everything. Now, what you're seeing is a fight where President Donald Trump wants the other side to either surrender or die. Mojtaba Khamenei and the IRGC say that they will not surrender. Now, the game over here is that you see, it's something like, Muhammad Ali boxing heavyweight category and Rocky Marciano doing it. But the other side continues to be in the game even after 10 days or 10 rounds of fighting that has gone on. So Iran will declare a victory if the regime stands. US can declare a victory because they've pulverized Iran. But in the end, does the regime collapse? Or is US able to achieve total victory by a regime change? That is what the current question is, and that is what the entire war is all about today.
So bouncing off of that, where do you see this war headed?
Okay, so President Donald Trump has been talking about a minimum 4-week war. And Iran shows no sign of letting down. It's continuing to fire missiles, drones, and anything it can throw at the Gulf countries to tell them that, to punish them for supporting the US effort or being on the side of US. He's punishing the Sunni world for that. And he's using proxies like Hezbollah, Houthis, Kataib Hezbollah, everybody. Now, the problem over here is multiple. See, US in that way is energy insulated because it has a lot of energy. So it does not need that kind of, there is no immediate threat or concern. But the problem is the world is going to be hit by energy crisis. There's going to be an escalation in prices, food prices and other things. Now, if the global impact is going to be 10, the US impact at least is going to be 5. But in US, price rise is a very serious electoral issue. So I do not know when the voices will start to grow up, and they're going to start to grow up very fast. Iran, it's a dictatorship. It's a ideological regime. So nothing much is expected out of it. Similarly, the Gulf countries are being hit. Now, how much of the hit the Gulf countries can take before they start to either tell the US or to retaliate? Now, retaliate, it does not seem, because if they retaliate, it is seen that they are close to the US. They are fighting with the US against the Ummah. So it's a totally complicated situation, but the noises will start to grow in US and the noises will start to grow in the Gulf countries. The noises are going to actually grow up within this week itself. So I think the war, it's in a decisive stage. Now, the way the global prices, the way the energy shortages will creep up, the Strait of Hormuz, there's hardly any movement over there. So you are locked in a fight where there are 3 players in the game. You have the US, Israel, you have Iran, which are refusing to back down, and then there is a collateral damage in the Gulf countries. All 3 are now jostling with each other, while the world is waiting to watch to ensure that, either there is energy security or there is, or they can take care of food security and everything. So right now it's an utter chaos that is going on. And I think the battle should be, the decision should come within this week itself.
So Iran has apologized to its neighbors for the attacks, issuing a caveat as well, essentially saying that they should not be supporting the United States in any of its attacks. What exactly is the game that's being played here? Because statements have also been issued by various nations in the Middle East, the UAE, Saudi Arabia. What do you have to say on this?
See, the Iranian president, Masoud Pezeshkian, he apologized to the Gulf countries, saying that for attacking them, but said that he will attack them if they continue to support US. That statement was cut down by the IRGC, which made it very clear that they want to expand the war. They want to make a situation where the world is actually feeling the heat of this war. So, essentially the Iranian president's statement did not carry any weight. Ultimately, what is carrying weight in Iran is the IRGC. It's not even Mojtaba Khamenei. It's the IRGC which is still holding the command and control, which is still firing at the Gulf countries, which is still firing at Israel, still firing at other places also. So it is the IRGC which is the real regime in Iran. Until such time the IRGC does not collapse, the war will not change. Because IRGC, after getting hit, continues to remain in power. They can always claim victory, saying that, listen, I fought with US, I fought with Israel, but I'm still there. I'm still ruling. US can say, I pulverized them, I did all this, but they could not do a regime change. But then they can always say, we pulverized the regime and also declare victory. But the fact remains is, it is looking more of a stalemate till such time that the IRGC collapses. But it does not seem so, because The regime is still firing drones, it is targeting ships, it is not allowing movement of ships in the Strait of Hormuz. So essentially saying the regime is still alive and kicking in Iran. So any statement that anybody else makes does not make any sense. The tipping point will be whether the regime collapses and whether there is a new regime. It's not about militias, it is not about the proxies, it's all about whether the core regime holds in Iran. That is where it lies. And the US-Israeli victory will only be possible if the regime collapses. And that, as of now, does not seem to be so.
So there were Shia protests in India. The government was then also blamed when the Iranian vessel Dina had sunk. Beyond this, there are those who were asking India to intervene. Are there any opportunities with this, and what role, if any, is India playing?
See, there is a counter question. Did India instigate the war? No. Did India do anything to aggravate it? No. Did India or has India any chance of intervention? No. So all this that is going on within India, it's more because, there are some people who want to utilize the vote bank. It's for vote bank politics. That's all this is being done. And this will continue because there are certain parties, like be it Congress, be it TMC, be it other people who want that certain vote bank, the Shia vote bank that they're looking at. And that's why there were protests. Yes, everybody has a right to protest, but these protests were, they were peaceful protests. That's where it is. Globally, you sent out an image as if India was burning. No, India was not burning. It was a peaceful protest and it happened, and that's how it is. Whether it is Srinagar or whether it is Lucknow or whether it's Hyderabad, wherever the Shia community was there was a protest. Now, the point is that India has no role to play in this, seriously. Is China playing any role? No. It made a statement, it criticized the war. Did it do anything about it? No. It is Chinese are one supportive of the Iran regime. Have they intervened? No. Russia is supportive of the Iran regime. Has he intervened? No. So why does the world expect India to intervene? And for what? So I don't think so India has any role to play in this, except that it has to side with people who are close to them, that is the Gulf countries. India has been very close to the Gulf countries and ensured that the Gulf countries have the food security and whatever help it requires. More so, there is a huge Indian diaspora in Gulf. It has to protect that. It has nothing to do with this, with whether the US or Israel or with Iran. That is where it is. Now, as far as this war obviously has also opportunities for India. For instance, India can have transshipment hubs like the port in Kerala, which is the new port which has come up, where you can have shorter supply lines to the Gulf countries, food, basically sending feeder vessels from here to, Strait of Hormuz, here to Gulf countries and ensure that their food security remains over there. Now, India can also look at other things. For instance, it is high time that the Indian defense players started to look at what Iran has been able to do. Particularly the DRDO has to answer that question. Iran continues to fire missiles, continues to fire drones, which means it has missile motors, it has missile fuel, it has missile explosives. How did they manage it? And of course, they have the GPS also because the targeting is absolutely fine. Wherever they want to target, they're targeting it. So how come a system which is under sanction has been able to produce so much? We have to have a look at that. We have to look at the transshipment hubs. Because you can't have Colombo as a transshipment hub. You can't have Singapore as a transshipment hub. You can have a transshipment hub closer to the Gulf countries who are your friends. So this is what it is. And you have to have better maritime security. Now, as far as this whole business of, whether, we should be protecting the Iranian ship that went down, Dena. The ship was off the course of Gale. There was nowhere in the Indian vicinity. Tomorrow you will say, why didn't we protect a ship in Suez Canal? The Chinese are sitting over there. They're doing nothing about it. So, to introduce this element of, what India is doing, I think it's unfair in every way. India is doing what is in its best strategic interest. It is looking at the Gulf countries, supporting them, has been very open and vocal about it, and has condemned the attacks on them, and has to take care of the diaspora. And that is where it is all about. I mean, see, we are in many ways a prisoner of geography, the way we are. I mean, we have a neighbor on the west side, we have Pakistan, which which hardly is up to any good. We have China, which is obviously a strategic concern. We look at other places also, and we are very close to the Middle East. And of course, we are consumers of oil. We are net importers of oil and gas. So we have our own interest. We have to look at non-Gulf countries for LNG, LPG, and crude oil. So we have many problems our own, rather than trying to sort out problems which are not our own. So that's where it is. So India will do what's in its best interest. And the best interest obviously is nothing to do with getting either involved with Iran or with the US.
So thank you so much for joining us and providing us with more crucial perspective on what's taking place in the Middle East, also on India's role. With that, it's a wrap, but do stay tuned to Hindustan Times and tune in next week for the next segment of Point Blank.